All right, guys, finally we're here. We are in the Model Y. Now, by the time you see this video, there's probably hundreds of different reviews from different automotive journalists and YouTubers and bloggers and all that good stuff. And at the same time, we will have already probably made our decision on which car we are going to get. But this is our review. We're going to do it in two parts. The first part is going to be from an owner perspective. Having owned several Teslas, Model S and Model X, having had the Model 3 in possession for quite a while, this is going to be my perspective on it, talking from a Tesla owner, but also talking from someone who is coming in blind to Tesla, whether this is a good car for you. In addition to this, we're also going to have Mrs. Black Tesla, who may be considering downgrading or upgrading, depending on how you want to look at it, from the Model X to the Model Y. We'll get her impressions of it as well. All right, so let's jump right into it right now. All right, so my initial thoughts, my initial impressions, I'll keep this raw and unfiltered, no agendas here, no sponsorships, none of that good stuff. My initial impressions is that it's very nice, it's very clean, but it's very tight. It's a little bit tighter. Being above 6 feet or even above 6'4", this becomes tight. So if you are tall or you are big, wide, or bigger than average, I should say, this car is going to feel a lot tighter than a Model X would feel, or even a Model S, okay? So that's my initial thought, my initial impressions in terms of just the feel of everything. The steering wheel itself also feels kind of tight, kind of small compared to the bigger steering wheel of the Model S and the Model X, all right? Otherwise, everything is nice and clean. One of the other things I noticed is that the screen is actually facing straight forward, so it's accessible to both parties in the driver's side and the passenger side, which means it's not as tilted towards the driver as a touchscreen on the Model S and Model X, which means you get a little bit of glare, so it's a little bit hard to see as well. All right. That said, the controls are always buried in menus, so being able to adjust the steering wheel is very cool, but I would love it to be a lot quicker than what it is right now, because I have to go through a menu to be able to do this, as opposed to the Model S and X, you just press a button. So if some buttons were here, it would be better, but it's not too bad. It's not a deal breaker for me right now. Okay. In and out, back and forth. Good. Mirrors are good as well. I can adjust those as needed. No problem. Very responsive as well. Hit the other one. I know I can click the button to do that as well. And there we go. Boom. So we're off to the races. So I'm going to take off. This is the Performance Model Y. Black, of course. Black Tesla, of course. And we're going to take off. Okay. So here we go. Driving. Again, tighter feel than the Model S and the Model X in terms of the space, in terms of the size of the steering wheel, but also brings a little bit of a more sportier vibe, less body roll, things like that. As I continue to drive, I can feel that it feels very connected without the air suspension that the Model S and X have. It feels more connected because it has springs and also the bigger performance wheels. Acceleration-wise, there's a lot to be desired. There's a lot to be desired here, personally. Coming from a Performance Model S and only knowing a Performance Model S, and even driving the Performance Model X, this leaves a lot to be desired. When I've seen some of the drag races online of this, it does seem to clock in a little bit less than the Model 3. So Model 3 seems quicker if we're talking this form factor, but then also from a speed perspective, responsiveness of the throttle isn't really there like it is for the Model S and Model X performance. But it does feel good. Okay, nice little sporty drive. Corners really well, handles really well, brakes really well as well. Quiet cabin, relatively speaking. This is probably a demo or a loaner car or something like that. So it's probably not going to be perfectly quiet, but it's still relatively quiet in terms of wind noise. Again, responsiveness of the throttle is there, but it's just not as sharp and as crisp as I would like it to be, like it is on the Model S and X, and not as potent as well. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty good. Visibility is good. Being up this high in a Tesla, it's hard not to remember having that large screen of the Model X. That is an underrated feature, adds lots of visibility. I feel like this is obstructing this view sitting up this high. I typically expect to see this when I'm in the Model S or even in the Model 3, but sitting up this high because this is on pedestals, I feel like I should be able to have more visibility. Getting used to the touchscreen. As a new owner coming into this, if you want to get used to this touchscreen being in the middle, or as an existing owner coming into this, if you want to get used to the touchscreen, it does take some getting used to. Driving with both hands, it does obscure the screen right now. I can't see over my right hand to see exactly what the screen is doing, what the car is doing on the screen. So I missed some of that. Okay, so instrument cluster definitely is preferred for us in that regard, or at least for me. All right, again, taking these corners, handles really, really well, stays pretty flat, but then it starts to break over and do a little bit of understeer. A little bit of understeer. Brakes well, handles well. Full stop. We'll do a little bit of a launch here, see how this compares. Again, we're low on battery, but I expect nothing extravagant, again, coming from the Performance Model S and Model X's. Okay, little sluggish. Sluggish to get up to speed. It does get up to speed, but it's sluggish in getting there. And that's what I think the difference is between the performance variants. Model S hits you with that immediate punch. Model X Performance also hits you with that immediate punch. And even the standard Model X hits you with an immediate punch. They're sort of front-loaded in terms of acceleration in the acceleration band, where it gives you a lot off the bat, and then it dies off relatively quickly. This one might be doing the opposite, where it sort of lets off a little easy and then gives you more power at the top end, potentially. All right, other than that, the mirrors seem very small. The side view mirrors are very small, again, compared to the Model S and X. So if you're thinking about upgrading or downgrading, however you want to look to it, to getting one of these, you're going to have that difference. That mirror is very, very small. It looks almost square compared to the rectangular view that you get out of the Model S and X mirrors. Right, other things I noticed, again, are just how quiet the cabin is. Tesla has refined these cars tremendously, so that's great. Visors are here, they're good to go. Lights. Being able to have no buttons seems refreshing. It seems very good. Even if I hold my hands like this, no problem. Things I have to get used to now coming into this is the different turn signals that they have here, where it doesn't click. It actually just sort of actuates when you press the button. Right, so you just tap here, it goes down. It doesn't actually click in. So that's a little bit interesting. And there's different notches to it. So it's a little bit of a different experience. So if you're brand new to Tesla, that's going to be a little bit jarring. If you have a Tesla, this is also going to be jarring as well. Just being able to get used to that. All right. I do miss that dedicated Autopilot stalk. That's not there. In order to use Autopilot, and I don't think it's engaged in this particular model, we would double tap down here. And that's when it would appear. So that's also takes some getting used to. But again, if you've never driven this can be a brand new experience, a departure from an internal combustion engine. It's going to be fantastic. But if you are someone who comes from a Model S or Model X and are thinking about getting one of these, I would think again, depending on your taste and your preference. If you're a smaller person, a smaller driver, then yes, absolutely, this might make sense for you. If you are a taller driver or a bigger driver, you will definitely want to look at the Model X or the Model S in terms of space. Okay, so that's my quick spin around the block here, testing out some metrics, giving my first impressions, first thoughts and reviews on the Tesla Model Y. Let's switch over. Let's let the queen get in the seat and see if she can take it for a spin and get her thoughts and opinions on them as well.
So yeah, like you said, it does feel a little smaller. When you were doing the test drive and I was riding shotgun, I didn't feel like I was squeezed in, but again, I did feel the size decrease just a bit. I mean, it was a very comfortable ride. We're tall people. I'm like 5'9". I didn't feel uncomfortable. I had enough leg room, but again, I just felt like it was smaller. Still, lovely ride. Now that I'm in the driver's seat, it feels good. I don't have as much headroom as I'm used to. Again, I ride my Model X every day, so I'm very used to that profile. This, again, I like it. It's a bit small. It's not drastic. I was expecting a drastic size difference, but it's not bad. what is automatically catching me off guard here is the arrangement of my, I guess, widgets. The tablets, obviously, well, it's not larger. It's just, I guess it's like as if you were to
Horizontal.
make my vertical situation, the Model X, horizontal, which is what I'm looking at here. But yeah, once I start driving, I guess I'll kind of, understand more so how everything goes. But as I went to kick it into drive, I just instinctively like put it in drive. So if I guess from a previous Tesla owner, that's intuitive. I'm not sure how everything else is, but it feels good. It feels good. I could definitely see how this could be someone's introduction into Tesla, and they'll be more than happy with it because having driven obviously with Black Tesla in the S and with my X, this isn't jarring. It's actually really nice and what I would expect from the Tesla brand. So again, this is me, I knew about the Model Y. I didn't do a whole lot of research. Now I'm just now doing some research. But yeah, as we're looking to possibly get a new car, are we going to get the Model X again or are we going to get the Model Y? So yeah, we're going to figure that out. And this is like my first time really getting to know the Model Y. So let's get real intimate here. I'm going to kick it into drive and take off. All right, so we are cruising along. It is a smooth ride. I will say, it's funny. I feel like I'm in a no shade Model Y, but it's kind of like a little putt-putt. Like it's very responsive. That's what I should say. I feel like I have more control of this vehicle because it is smaller. As I kind of go from left to right here, it's super responsive, very lightweight, which is not the case for the Model X, even though it drives beautifully. But this, you can definitely feel that it's just, a more limber, smaller situation. As I turn along this curve here, very smooth, very, very responsive. The wheel profile is a bit smaller. Again, no shade, low putt-putt, low golf cart like everything just seems a little smaller, a little closer together as now I'm like driving and getting a better sense of the wheel alignment here. But nothing, again, it's not bad. It's just slightly different. The mirrors are fine. Again, they are smaller. They're a bit tighter to the vehicle, comparing it to the X. But it doesn't throw me off. It's obviously just a different profile. But yeah, no, I think this is definitely something I would consider. It still feels substantial. I do like the SUV profile. And this, I don't feel like I'm in a sedan per se, but I don't quite feel like I'm in an SUV, if that makes any sense. It's a crossover, and I guess, sure. But for me, I like to be, higher up. I like the space. But this is a little spunky car here. I like it. I really do. Okay. I'm gonna do a launch because that's what you do when you test drive. Okay. 3, 2. Nice. So when I was in the passenger seat, when Black Tesla did his launch, I did notice that a slight lag. Again, not crazy. To me, it's only something you would know if you are, again, a previous Tesla owner. That's something you would automatically know because the launches are just like so instantaneous. This one, like a fraction. Black Tesla maybe felt more of a lag. I didn't really feel much. And if I did feel a lag, you get there. You definitely feel like I call it that little tingle in your stomach with the force there. It's not as impactful, I would say, as a Model S or a Model X, but it's still that distinct Tesla, giddiness of that launch. You still feel it. I won't say it's as refined as you would, or as peppy as you would find in the Model X or the Model S, but this is really cool. This is really cool. Off the bat, I will definitely miss. I haven't gotten a chance to get in the back, but I just know I'm going to miss my Falcon wing doors. It's just become a part. It becomes a part of your life. Like, I don't know how I would quite function without it, because especially with the baby, getting the stroller in, getting groceries in, and bags and whatever else you have in the back seat. It's just so easy and so functional. So that's probably the biggest hurdle I would have, I think, if I were to switch from a Model X to a Model Y, because like I said, being here in the cabin, it's still a beautiful Tesla vehicle. There's definitely some nuances here that are missing, that are not as prevalent as you would find in a Model S or a Model X, but this is it's up there. I mean, it's definitely something to consider for sure. Saying if I had to choose, obviously for me, I would choose a Model X. It has all the premium features. It has, again, like I said, my Falcon wing doors, which I have come to love. Are we stopping here? Which I've come to love and become very tied to. So it would really come down to the numbers. But again, if I maybe didn't want to pay that premium cost of a Model X and I did the Model Y, would it be heartbreaking? No. I mean, I think this is definitely a strong competitor. Coming from someone who drives the Model X, again, the biggest hurdle, the biggest heartbreak, if there was any, would be saying goodbye to the Falcon wing doors.
All right, so talking about the styling, again, just the outside, just giving you some insight. These handles, these doors, this is a problem. This is a problem just trying to get in very quickly. This is a problem for females with longer nails. Or this is just a problem just in general. Coming from a scenario where the door handles present themselves, or where the door automatically opens, or it's just as simple as the push, this becomes problematic for me. It's always been a problem for the Model 3, same thing for the Model Y.
This would definitely pose a problem. I have my nails super, super short, and look at the clearance is not, I mean, it's okay, but it's not a whole lot, especially, if you're rushing, you're not, looking at what your exact finger placement is. So I could definitely see myself having lots of broken nails with this door.
In addition to that, even if you have, this requires you to use a certain hand. You can't use this with both hands. So if I come up with if I have something on the right and I come up with the left, how do I then open the door?
Odd.
It's awkward. It's an awkward situation. So that's another pet peeve of mine when it comes to this. Otherwise, the styling is great. I love the black on black. I love the aesthetic. I love the darker trim, the chrome delete. That's also a good thing. The look of this design that we have carried over from the Model 3 works really good in crossover form. So in closing, I'll say that if you are a new Tesla owner, this is great. This is going to be a great car for you. This is going to be a great option for you to join the Tesla family, especially if you like crossovers, if you like CUVs, if you like the Model 3, but you want something a little bit taller, okay? If you are tall and a little bit bigger, you definitely want to look for a Model X, be it new or used, because you're going to have a lot more space, or even a Model S as well, all right? From an existing Tesla owner, I think this is a bit of a downgrade if you have a Model X or S. Again, if size isn't an issue, and if cost isn't an issue, right? So if cost is not a factor, definitely get the Model X or S. But I think this does have some merit in the extent that it is providing you great value at lower cost than the Model S or X. I wouldn't say it's more value, but it's providing you great value in terms of the cost that it does cost. Okay, so that's our review, that's our thoughts. Give us your feedback, let us know what you think. But again, by the time you see this video, lots of different reviews will be out. We'll have already made our decision, and we'll update the channel with that decision later on. Until the next time, enjoy your day.
Enjoy your Tesla.